Hi, everyone. I'm sitting here with Tamara Scott. She's the author of Prepare for Contact. Tamara, would you hold up that copy of your book? There we go. There it is, a guide for interacting with galactic beings. And Tamara is going to answer the three questions. So, Tamara, what is your advice to someone who is just new to contact?
Well, I think the most important thing is to realize that contact can really happen in so many different ways. It can come to you in your dreams. You can receive messages through music. The chances of having a galactic being show up in your living room are very slim. So, you just need to understand that you may just get messages too. So, contact's going to happen in a variety of different ways. And generally, it's going to be very gradual at the beginning. They're not just going to pop up and pull into your driveway in a spaceship, and come out and say, hey. So I think that's the most important thing. Realize that contact comes in many, many different ways. You could get telepathic messages, you could get downloads of information. And when we talk about contact with non human beings, that includes kind of an entire realm of things. It could be angels, it could be ascended masters, it could be guides, and it could be just non humans, other alien species. So it all depends on what kind of contact is going to be made and by whom.
Yeah, that's such good advice for somebody who's just starting out because I think a lot of people enter into this looking for, okay, what can I see in the sky that is an undeniable sighting and see it with multiple witnesses, which is a great experience, but also that there's all of these other realms that are open to them in terms of how to make contact, which open the door to that metaphysical side, which I think some people are like surprised that that even exists.
Yes. And I think that's the really cool part of this whole thing is that I came at it from I'm a medium, and so I'm really great at talking with dead people, and so I'm into ghosts and angels and those types of things. And then my husband was into Bigfoots and UFOs when we met, so it was like this paranormal match made in heaven. And I think the lovely thing is that science is really now validating that it's all the same. It's all the same phenomenon. And so then what's important is to figure out and what's what and who's who and who's coming in. So you have to use your discernment. But it's very exciting that we're realizing that it's all frequency and it's what you're able to discern and how you're able to discern it. So it's really important to raise your consciousness, and I feel like there are kind of 8 fundamental areas that we need to focus on in order to raise our consciousness. So food, really important. It needs to be organic, non-GMO. Cut out the bad stuff. There's no fast food on the list. Sorry about that. Eliminate sugar, wheat, gluten, dairy, anything that's inflammatory. And then you've got to drink your water. So half your body weight in ounces every single day. Make sure your body, it conducts energy. And so you've got to drink water so that everything can move and you also flush out toxins. Exercise, super important. I absolutely hate it. I would rather be sitting in my zero gravity chair reading a book all day long. That's just me with my cat on my lap, cup of tea and a book. Best thing ever. But you've got to get the energy moving in your body. And because we're in a human vessel at this time, we got to keep moving it and keep everything moving and getting things out. Sleep, super important. You got to get 8 hours of sleep a night. Many important things happen at night. 1, you repair your body. 2, when you're sleeping and dreaming, you're actually practicing telepathy. Super important. Think about it. You don't have your dreams all night long and you don't say your conversations out loud. No, you do them in your head. So it's really important you're practicing telepathy. And you're also visiting other places when you sleep. So your body stays here, your consciousness goes other places. So super important. Meditation, really important. Meditation or prayer twice a day, 20 minutes. You've got to still the mind because I don't know about you, but I get monkey mind and it just goes crazy. And so you really just got to still your mind and be able to focus, because the crazy thing is when you're interacting with a non-human being, you're having a conversation with them and then you're thinking about your grocery list that you need to do. And then, oh, I've got to go deal with that and the laundry and the whatever. And they're like sitting here going, well, your brain is like all over the place. So It's really important that you learn to focus your mind and really concentrate and pay attention when you're communing with a non-human being. Detoxification and alternative healing methods, really important. Super important to get us back to our original clear vessel from when we were little kids. You remember the amount of energy we had when we were little kids? You could go forever and like never eat. You just ran around the yard and played. And then as we get older and we keep gunking up our bodies with stuff, it's just more and more difficult. So detoxification, sauna, colon hydrotherapy, acupuncture, naturopathic medicine, anything you want, but you just got to get the toxins out and detox. And then I really feel like a clear and calm home environment are really important. I went through the Marie Kondo method of condoing my house, and I have to tell you, it took a lot longer than I imagined. Finally got it all done. Everything's amazing. It's clutter free, and I would come upon things in my house that I was keeping out of obligation because it was given to me by a family member, and it was like, oh, you need to keep this. This is Aunt so-and-so's, and it's amazing. And it's like, no, I've never liked this thing. And so I either need to let one of my lovely family members have it who really wants it, or it needs to be gifted and somebody else can really enjoy it. So really important to realize that every single thing in your space has to give you energy and positive energy, and you can't be weighted down in a bunch of stuff. It's just as bad as having gunk in your body. You got to have your surroundings clear and clutter-free too. And then the last thing is, and this one is kind of not obvious, it's about transparency and truth, and telling truth and being transparent as you possibly can in your everyday life as a human. And this is really important because when you start having a conversation with a non-human being telepathically, everything is known. Absolutely. The truth is there. In other words, if you see a non-human being, let's just say for an example, all of a sudden you begin having a conversation with, let's just say, a reptilian. And you're looking at them and you're thinking, oh my God, they're scary looking. You know, look at that snout. Oh, that's really crazy. Well, guess what? They're hearing everything you're thinking. So there's also a point where you also need to, and this is so key, we need to be able to observe things without judging everything. And we judge everything we do. When we go to the grocery store and we're wheeling down the aisle and we see someone who is not like us or different than us, we think, oh, wow, that person why are they buying junk food? They should be losing some weight, you know, they should be eating a healthier diet. So we start judging people based on where we are. I think the most important shift we can make is we need to start seeing people for their energy field and for what they're emitting, not for what their physical being represents. So really super key focus and a concept to maintain and to start practicing. We can do this every single day. So the next time you go to the grocery store, really important when you're going down the aisle and you're looking at people, don't look at them. Look at their energy field. It's more how you feel, not how you think. Really a big differentiator. So start feeling into that person. And if you come up to somebody and they feel yucky and they have yucky energy, it's okay. You just bless them and go on your way and just send them loving energy. So it's not about judging. It's about really just about feeling, and you can start practicing that. It's really funny to see how we do it. It's automatic. It's like we're trained to do it.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you have this 8-point system to follow and to use as a guideline. And it's so good because it's so basic and it's so true. Like literally, we are what we eat. And so we cannot be clear vessels or raise our frequency high enough to get to that plane of contact until we take care of our bodies, take care of our souls, take care of our minds and everything. So yeah, wonderful. I love your book. It's so straightforward and it's easy to read. It's very accessible, and there's a lot of really great ideas and tips and tricks in there. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think the interesting thing of the book is that it's a roadmap. It's a pathway. It's a guide, and every single person's ascension journey is different. In other words, there's not a one size fits all. If this were all easy and we could take a pill and we could all do it, we would have all done it by now. But it really is an individual journey. So really this is about you taking stock of where you are in all of these different areas and making small incremental gains over time. You're not going to be able to do this overnight. It's a lifelong process here. So it really is about, is there one small thing that you can eliminate from your diet today that you're doing that you know you should not be doing? And for me, I've had many, many vices. I used to be addicted to sugar. So I was addicted to sugar for 44 years. It took me 7 times to try to break my sugar addiction. And sugar is as addictive as cocaine. They've proved that scientifically, and it's in everything. So you've got to read every single label. You've got to look at everything. And so for me, that was one of my challenges. And so, I just think it's make incremental changes. Get rid of, cut soda out of your diet, whether even if it's sugar-free or, it's just not good for you. So replace it with something that's healthier. If you need to start out with regular iced tea without sugar in it, and then work your way down to herbal iced tea, fantastic. Get the caffeine out as well. And I'm still have a little challenge with caffeine now and again. So we all have our vices still. You work your way down the addiction scale.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask us an aside question? I heard somewhere that white sugar affects your psychic abilities specifically. Do you know if that's true?
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm going to tell you the most important fact I've learned, and this is really fantastic. It was Fitzgerald and Tamara out of the UK, and they have been able to scientifically prove, and they found this, that what happens is sugar blocks your ability to give you an appropriate fight or flight response. So here's what happens. If you are in a situation, and Barry Fitzgerald was on Ghost Hunters International, and he was on that television show for years. Great guy, fantastic. And the problem is they basically told everyone on their teams, because we are going into places that may have non-benevolent energies, you don't want to open yourself up to energies that may or may not be good. And so the challenge is that if you don't have your fight or flight radar working appropriately, because sugar actually reduces it and you don't even know you're in trouble. So really important, do not eat any sugar for at least 3 days before you're going to be doing, preferably you won't have it in your diet at all, but really it's much, much, much better if you don't, at least 3 days before you go do any psychic type of stuff, because you don't want to invite in anything that is non-benevolent, and then B, if something does come in that's less than a higher vibration, you need to have your discernment in place in order to really know how to, to deal with it.
How would you know? What is that? How would you tell somebody new how to use their discernment?
Really important. I think before you make contact with any non-human or anything that's non-physical, you really got to set your intention. It really is about wanting to connect with only beings of the highest order and who are with you at the choice of your soul and that are benevolent. Really important. You don't want to mess with Ouija boards. You don't want to bring in anything like that, because it's just not good. From there, you want to come at this where you want to be of service to the alien or the non-human, and allow them to impart knowledge and information to you. It needs to be mutual. Also, you're a sovereign being. Now, most of these beings who are going to communicate with you are of a higher vibration, and they've had to lower their vibration to communicate with you, and you've had to raise your consciousness to communicate with them. So it's really important that you meet in the middle, but you're not lesser than them. Just because they have more super wild powers than you do, it doesn't mean that they are better than you. It just means that they've been working at it longer and harder than you have, and or in many other times or spaces or dimensions. And so at this time, they're not any better than you. They're here to meet you and to learn from you. They may not have some superpowers that you have, like crazy, amazing emotions, They're fascinated by us because we're so wackadoodle with our emotions, we're all over the place. And they're like, these people are fascinating to watch and study. Look at them go crazy. So they're fascinated by us. And they're also checking to see, hey, where are you guys at on raising your consciousness? Are you guys still warring with each other? Are you guys still, doing crazy things and or are you being respectful as a group of people? They're not going to come here and drop down ships and just unload in the front lawn until we can show that we can be sovereign beings who are capable of not confronting others and stopping the wars and stopping. We need to clean up Earth first.
Yeah, absolutely. Something about your book that I've never seen anywhere else is that you really get into details about literally what it would be like to come face to face with an ET and the different protocols and politeness and even small tips and techniques that make perfect sense on what you would do if you were to come face to face. So yeah, I love that about your book.
It's so great. So I think what's really important is that, first of all, you're going to freak out your first time, and it's standard. So don't beat yourself up. It's like, it's such a shock, I think, to have that experience, and that's okay. So I really recommend that you just breathe, because you're probably just going to go, your brain is going to go crazy, and you're going to try to go, okay, what is going on here? What am I seeing? What's really going on? Breathe. And then you really just want to try to relax, put your arms down. If you'd like, you can turn your palms out. And then generally what I recommend is you can raise one hand or the other, left or right. It doesn't matter, whichever one is more comfortable for you. What happens is everyone sends out an energy signature. And so what you're doing is you're just sending out your energy signature, and you're allowing that being to read your energy signature. What's so fascinating is the Native Americans have had, they've always been in contact with star beings. And so why do you think they raised their right hand? They're knowing to share their energy signature. It's also letting them know that you don't have any weapons on you. If you're going to go out into nature and you're going to try to contact Sasquatch, if you're going to interact with elementals in the forest, or, if you're going to meet an ET, it's really important that you go unarmed. I know a lot of people are like, I won't go without my gun. It's like, okay, well, listen, they're not going to hurt you. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have hurt us a long time ago. A long time ago. Their technology is 5 million times better than ours. So they're not going to hurt you. So I really feel like it's important to also, they don't like cameras, that type of thing. If you try to film it, if you try to catch it, you're going to ruin the moment. I really recommend being in the moment. So really come at it from being there to be of service. You're a sovereign being. Maintain a soft focus in your eyes. Don't stare at them like, but, because it's kind of weird, right? And so, but just maintain a soft focus, and then go ahead and start communicating with them telepathically. They're adept at that. They're fantastic at it, and it's very easy. It's just sending thoughts back and forth, and all of a sudden you may start hearing things in your head that aren't yours. And if you're not familiar with it, it's probably going to freak you out a little bit at first, but that's okay. Just relax, keep breathing. Try not to hyperventilate. Try not to run away. Now, if you do run away, it's okay. I had a friend of mine who she had her first ET experience on Mount Shasta, face to face, with an amazing 10-foot tall being who was human looking in nature. And it was in a Zendra type situation. And she had an amazing exchange with him while she was there. But, she felt like she wasn't up to the mark, as where, she kept wanting to have this experience, had the experience. And then it's like, she was just kind of a little bit disappointed in herself. So don't beat yourself up. Your first time out of the gate is just going to be your experience. Then I also think when you're having an experience, thank them at the end for showing up. And you also might want to follow their lead, whatever the ET is doing. Just pay attention to what they're doing and follow their lead. Are they gesturing? Are they thinking? Are they sitting down? Are they recommending that you breathe more or sit down? Or, they may just say, hey, we're not going to hurt you. but we'd like to basically shift your energy a bit so that this is more comfortable for you. And then I think at the very end, it's really important to thank them for coming to visit you and for taking their time to lower their frequency to come down to visit you, and ask them to return if they were benevolent, is say, you're welcome to return at any time. I welcome contact with you. Then the most important thing is journal your experiences. I have a journal. I keep a journal of my dreams, of my experiences, where I was, because you're going to forget. You're going to forget the details. You're going to forget all of these amazing things that happened. And over time, I'm like, oh, what year was that we were on Mount Shasta? And, so it's just important to journal things too. And then you never know how messages come and the information that comes in.
Yeah. This is so great that you're providing this information now, because I feel like there have been contact teams that have been making contact for decades and maybe not kind of getting to this point of deeper contact, of actually meeting face to face. And even in my team, we've been doing it for about 7 years. And just recently, one in our team, one did make face to face several years ago, just very briefly, but recently one of our team did make face to face contact with several ETs. So I think this is really coming up in the contact community as something that is going to be like, this is what's happening next.
Yes. So the bottom line is that if you call in chips and you're seeing them in your CE-5 groups or whatever, guys, next step is they're going to come down for a visit. And you're like, I'm not ready. What do we do now? Yeah, it's like we've called in the ships and we've all seen them. We all know they're there. Contact has been happening, and it's been happening since the beginning of time. And so I really feel like it's our responsibility to prepare ourselves and do the very best we can so that we are ready for that. So that when the ship does drop down out of the sky and that hatch opens and here they are, we know what to do, and these are just the very basics, but I really feel like they're really important, because we're not going to know how to interact with all species across the board. Some may be a little different. There are plasma beings. There are some that don't have any physical body at all. A lot of them can drop themselves into a hologram or so that they can give us some type of physical representation or something that looks similar to it, so that we're not quite freaking out quite so bad. So really important. So I feel like it's our job right now, because it's coming, it's been happening, and it's just going to get more and more frequent. So we need to be ready. And I really feel like it's about setting our intention every day. And for folks who want to go to our website at galacticambassadors.com, we also have a free 10-minute guided meditation. I play the harp on it, and then I do the guided meditation. And it's really relaxing. And we have had some unbelievable experiences, not only using that, the local CE-5 group here in Irvine, California has used it. Unbelievable experiences after using it. And so feel free to do it. You can do it every day. It's actually just relaxing at the end of the workday or whenever you want to do it. But I think it's about us setting our intention to connect. And so if we're putting it out there, they'll go, hey, wait, there's somebody down there that wants to connect. Let's go connect with her. So I think your chances of it happening are higher.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's such a great resource. I can't wait to, I made a note of it last night and I forgot to go and grab it today on your website, but I'm going to go do that and check it out. My second question is, what is your average contact experience like? I don't think that you're in the CE-5 community. Do you go out regularly, or is it more of a fluid thing for you?
It's a mix of both. I have gone out to our local CE-5 group here in Irvine, and they're really fantastic. They're really dedicated, and they're really such a lovely group of people to go out with. But my husband and I, we love to go out by ourselves, and our favorite hotspot is Mount Shasta, California. And we've had unbelievable contact experiences there. Not only ship sightings, which have been just off the chain, crazy, amazing. Full on ship, decloaked. We're up on the mountain and we're with two other people, and it's just us up there on the mountain at night. And it was dusk, and this ginormous orange cigar-shaped ship just completely decloaked and then flew in front of the mountain and flew in front of the mountain, and then it turned, and then it powered up just like on Star Trek. It powered up, and then it was like gone. It was, and I'm going to say that this experience was at least 5 minutes, and it was up close. It was not like we had no binoculars. It was like right there in our face, and it was on my birthday. It was like my birthday present, and so we were all excited. We were jumping up and down, and we were sending them love, and they were, it was like the lights kept flashing, and it was insane. It was like best birthday present ever, right? A lot of women want diamonds. No, let's have UFO sightings. So fantastic, right? And then I've had Sasquatch sighting on Mount Shasta. And the thing is, I knew it was, well, actually, I learned, because I didn't know when it happened, that I saw we were going up the mountain, and this was a different trip we were on. So my husband and I, our exciting vacations are to UFO and Sasquatch hotspots, right? So funny. Anyway, we're going up the mountain, and there's always this one place that I'm drawn to, and he was driving, and I said, "Oh my gosh, there's a Sasquatch." It was a female Sasquatch. But the crazy thing is that there was like this berm in the road, and she was walking like 4 feet above it. Like she wasn't on the ground, and she wasn't teleporting, and I only saw it in my left eye. So I'm like babbling on. I'm like, "Oh, did you see the Sasquatch? Did you see the Sasquatch?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, so we turn around. I'm like, turn around. We're on a mountain road, like turn around. We go back, and we pull into this road that's there, and we get out, we look around. Of course, nothing's there. It was gone. And I'm all babbling on about, "Oh my gosh, you should have seen it. It was so amazing." And so anyway, what I learned later was Barry Fitzgerald from Ghost Hunters International has had very similar experiences where dimensionally you will see things only in one eye if it's in another dimension. So it's a good thing to know. And I was so excited to have somebody validate that, because there is no guidebook out there for how you're going to experience other beings or other dimensions. Everybody is built differently. If there was one size fits all, I would have got the user guide, when I incarnated, and it would have been really easy. But there's no one size fits all user guide either. So everybody's going to have a different experience.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. How could you tell that you could only see it in your left eye at the time?
It was the first time I'd ever have it happen. But the weird thing is that I'm just seeing it, and it was only in my left. I've never had it happen before, and I'm like, but I only saw it in my left eye. My husband's like going, "What?" And I'm like, but I mean, when you always have weird paranormal things happening, you just go, whoa, I just had something new happen. This is so cool. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. We're going to figure it out, but it was very strange. It was like I was looking ahead, but it was only like in one eye, kind of like having two screens up and only one thing moving in one screen.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of get a sense of what that's like. Wow, weird. Wild.
Yeah. Super crazy, but it was really cool.
Nice. And about the birthday sighting, I just was told last night that birthday CE-5s are the best. And I was like, oh, really? So just have to go out on your birthday, I guess.
Wow. Okay, it's so good to know, because usually I try to go to Mount Shasta for my birthday, and so that's what we usually do for our birthdays. We're kind of geeky, so it's like, I don't want a gift. Let's just go, UFO sighting. And my husband's had unbelievable sightings up in Idlewild. He goes up by himself camping in the dead of winter, which I think is insane. And I hate the cold, so I don't go with him. And so he's had unbelievable UFO ship sightings. And then he's had Sasquatch immediately sighting afterwards. They were dropping him off. And so he's had great experiences as well. So you never know how these things are going to manifest and who's going to show up. So you just got to kind of be prepared, because I think everybody's going to look different than us. That's always number one. And some of them are bigger, hairier, scalier, different. They look really different, and they may look scary, but just check the energy signature. Check the energy. Try to get your brain to calm down. Just go, calm down, breathe. And then just feel for the energy signature. You'll be okay.
Okay, so my third question is, what's your story?
Wow. How did I get started on all of this?
Anything, yeah.
anything. I had my first UFO sighting at the age of 5. So I was staying the night at my grandparents' house with my little sister, and I was about 5 at the time. And my sister was 3. And my grandfather came home from the Moose Lodge, and he woke up my grandmother and my sister and I, and they carried us out in the living room. And looking out the window of their house in Portland, Oregon, there were 3 saucer-shaped cracks, one in each corner, and it's like they were playing chase in a triangular formation. And so that was my first experience. So we watched it for a while and I'm like, yeah, and then we went back to bed. No big deal. But my grandparents were so amazing. Their whole life was about, well, they always ate organic, and they always made their own food. They had a place up in Mount Hood. So they had a cabin in the woods and we would spend tons of time up there. So they were all about Sasquatch, fairies, angels. It didn't like everything. There was no, so they just believed in everything. And it was amazing the things that happened, growing up. So I thought that was normal. And it is.
Wow. But interesting and unique for you to have that experience where you are like fully accepted, like your perspective and paradigm is fully accepted and abilities and talents.
Yeah. And then I was empathic and intuitive as a child as well. And I had other gifts that I demonstrated that, would freak out my grandparents, but they were like going, okay, wow, look at that one. And so, it was very interesting. And so, but, then what happens is you grow out of that. We moved away from my grandparents and I spent less time with them. And then you go into the school thing and the indoctrination and all that stuff, and you really step away from it. And then, what I found was I was doing different things. I was able to, and I just kind of thought everybody could do what I could do. And so going into the corporate world and going into the work world after college and everything, you start reading people in meetings and you know what's going on and you understand when people are lying and telling half truths and, all the deception and everything else. And it's disheartening. And I think you start shielding yourself up. And then I also feel like it's really challenging. I moved from Oregon down here to California in 2000. And that was really challenging. I moved into Los Angeles and the energy there was so intense. And I moved into corporate America. I was working for local government prior to that. And I really felt like I had a job where I was being of service to people. So I was really happy in what I was doing. Then I did the real corporate route. And man, it was really tough on me, very difficult. So I shifted over time and everything was good. But I really started then developing my abilities because what happened was you may have raw abilities, but you really have to hone them and train them and discern them and move forward. So my mediumship abilities then were increasing. I've done multiple things, testing out my gifts and figuring out where they need to be of service. And the funny thing is, it feels like the universe will bring me something new and go, hey, would you like to try this? So, I've worked on missing person cases for law enforcement. I've given private readings to people, and I still do. But that really has been focused on when people come up to a fork in the road and they're trying to figure out what their life path is and where they're going. It's a mix of not only looking at their chart and seeing what's coming up, but giving them intuitive guidance from their guides, and then really helping them. They have to make the decision, and they have to make the choice, and they have to move forward. I'm just providing information that, quite frankly, they already know. It's in their subconscious, but they haven't accessed it or they're not trusting it. You need to trust yourself. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, follow your heart, follow your gut. So important. Stop using so much of this.
So how did the Galactic Ambassador site come about?
Galactic Ambassadors happened April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2017. And at that time, Bill was out camping by himself in the wilderness, which always makes me crazy when he's out there by himself. And I had a complete download. And I grabbed a notepad and I just started writing like a crazy person, the name for it, everything, what it was going to be about, what was supposed to come from it. And it really was about people bringing their curiosity about our space neighbors and then raising your consciousness so that you could, reach them more easily. And then really about making contact and how to do it. And so what happened was, I mean, everything fell into place. Like the galacticambassadors.com domain was available, and I like reserved it, and I had pages and pages and pages of notes and what it was going to be, and that there was going to be a book, and that we would teach. And it was really about us partnering also with other people just like you who were working on the same mission, but may have different pieces of the puzzle. And so our job is to really support research and support other people who are out doing this to just really keep helping us all move forward, because I don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. I just have one little tiny, tiny piece of the picture. And so it's really important that we keep sharing and growing all together so that we can all bring our consciousness together and then all make contact, which is really, really the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. That cooperation piece is such a wonderful, harmonious, coherence thing for us to do, hey? So what is on the website? How you said something about teaching?
Yes. So there are some great tools on there as far as different guidance regarding food, diet, water, exercise. There's the guided meditation. There are articles. There are Bill's written articles about places he's been and experiences that he's had. He went to Peru and had amazing experience with non-human person with a whole team of people. It was a research team, and so just different things that we put on there. We have advice for making your own raw cat food. So it's the health of your pet is so important as well. So, different things that we put on there that are just, we'll think of things and put them on there. So everything is free. Enjoy. And we're going to keep adding to it. So the guided meditation's on there again. The book can be purchased on Amazon.com. And so, it's under Tamara Scott Crowley, and it's prepared for contact. And so, it really is about giving you tools and things to think about moving forward on your journey. And just supporting other people and all of us sharing in this incredible journey together, because it's so much fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. And this all, I'm sure, is going to be very helpful for many of the people watching this. So I'll put links to all of those things in the descriptions, and links up at the top wherever that shortcut is. But thank you so much, Tamara. Was there any sort of last thought or last thing that you wanted to share or say?
Have fun out there. Get out there and practice. Put together your contact plan for what you want to do. Make it like an emergency preparedness plan and practice it, and be ready for it. And then go out to your local CE-5 groups and practice it. Go do it. And they may show up faster than you can even imagine. I had a former coworker who bought my book, read it, set her intention, and she was sleeping on the couch that night in her house because she'd had a fight with her husband. And it was very funny. The last thing she said before she went to sleep was, I want to have contact with a benevolent. And she woke up at 3 a.m. face to face with an alien in, like she said, it looked like a spacesuit. And she freaked out. And she called me. She goes, I was going to call you at 4:00 this morning. And she said she waited until 7. It was so funny. And then, so know it's going to happen. Just know it's going to happen. And then just enjoy the experience, no matter how it goes. So just enjoy and just know that whatever happens is meant to happen. And if your first experience isn't what you wanted it to be, know it will happen again.
Wonderful last words. Thank you so much, Tamara.
Thank you.
Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
If I were to recommend 3 books that would help you get out there to go make contact, I would recommend our book. I'm not just a little biased. I think that it is pretty good. I do hear a lot of feedback from people that say that it is comprehensive and it helps them quite a bit, and they've used it successfully to go make contact. Our book is really nitty-gritty. It's very much about how to get out there, how to find people, where to pick a location, very basic organizational kind of stuff, along with a little bit of deeper stuff in terms of what CE-5 and contact will do for you. Definitely get Tamara Scott Crowley's book that we've discussed today, Prepare for Contact. I think that particularly the things in that book that are really valuable are that focus on self and how you really need to tune yourself as an instrument to be able to reach these higher planes of consciousness where you can meet the ETs and communicate on that level. And as well, I really love that face-to-face aspect that Tamara is really digging into that I really haven't seen anywhere else. And it is going to be something that is quite, I believe, prevalent in contact work. Prevalent? Is that the right word? Prevalent. Common. I don't know. Anyways, and the third book that I would recommend is Lisa, I always say her name wrong. It's spelled Lyssa, but it's Lisa Royal Holt's book, Preparing for Contact, which is actually kind of funny because Tamara's book and Lisa's book are titled very closely. Lisa's book is deep. It really talks about the unconscious and the subconscious and allowing contact to happen by transcending your fears and understanding the basis of reality and how expansion is scary because it is unknown and because of the way that humans are raised, where control is such a big factor in our childhoods. Anyways, those 3 books, go and get them. Check them out. I hope that this really excites you and it motivates you to get out there, put your coat on, bundle yourself up, bring a sleeping bag. That is my number 1 tip for CE-5s. Be warm and enjoy yourself out there in nature and under the stars and receiving one of the most amazing experiences that you can have these days.